On today's episode of the Views from Section 400 podcast, I'm a little sick, but that didn't stop me from showing up. Kickball did stop Jack from showing up. It's Matt and I. We recap a college football playoff rankings, go through all the scenarios that could come up. Michael of the Week returns, and we finish it all off with our NFL Week 12 confidence picks. I am in shambles. I might get last place. We'll see you guys soon.
And just like that, we're back.
A16, turn me up.
Welcome in to episode 224 of the Views from Section 400 podcast. Today is November 20th, 2025. And it's a shame Jack's not here because the Iron Bowl just became an elimination game for the Alabama Crimson Tide after they lost to Oklahoma this week.
Would Jack be the one to go over that with? I mean, this guy's been out on Auburn football.
That's fair.
For the last, 3, 4, 5, maybe even the whole year. I don't know. But, yeah, what are you thinking, Brian? Alabama loses and they're out?
It sure looks like it. I mean, they dropped down to 10 in the rankings now, which with all the chaos that could happen behind them, they can't really afford to lose to Auburn, an Auburn team that's not going to go bowling, and an Auburn team that is sitting Ashton Daniels to keep his red shirt so he can play next year, just so he can play in this Iron Bowl as his fourth game this year. So DJ Durkin's locked in.
It's a smart move. Smart move by the Auburn Tigers. And look, we talked about this weeks ago on the pod that these games, these rivalry games at the end of the season, it's throw the records out the window. I mean, they're doing a move to save the guy's redshirt status, but so that he can still play in the game. I mean, Auburn's going to want to win this game. Obviously, it's in Auburn, at Auburn. So it's a tricky one for Alabama nonetheless. And, it creates an atmosphere for Auburn fans to get excited in a season of disappointment and creates a little more tension. The nerves get a little more unsettled for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, it would be the most Auburn thing in the world to lose to Mercer this Saturday and then go out and beat Alabama. Alabama and Ty Simpson, who have not looked good on the road all season. Almost lost to Missouri, lost to FSU, almost lost to South Carolina. Now they got to go to Jordan-Hare.
They do, and I'm glad you brought up Mercer because they are 9-1, and they're one of the top teams in the FCS. So, again, FCS, we've seen some FCS schools knock off FBS schools this year. So, again, do I think Auburn will lose? No. But if they come in thinking they're going to win 35-0 and, put all the eyes and effort towards the Crimson Tide, this Mercer team's not half bad, Brian. They're not, and they're probably coming in. The FCS playoffs are right around the corner. They're currently 6th in the coaches poll. Seeding is everything because they run not an NCAA March Madness type bracket, but it's a big bracket that they run. And any seeding, a big win like this could help them in terms of getting a bye in the opening weekend and this and that. So, they're not taking this game lightly. This isn't week 1, week 2, where it's, an automatic win. And let me preface, I don't think Auburn will lose, but I don't know, at all the teams that have coming in late in the season, Mercer is definitely a lot tougher than what it could be.
Yeah, and this is an Auburn team that has lost to New Mexico State in this spot before. So you don't want to take Mercer lightly. But like I said, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they lost to Mercer and then beat Alabama in the Iron Bowl.
And honestly, even if, would it be embarrassing if they lose to Mercer? Sure. Auburn isn't expected to do anything. So it's who cares? You almost want them to so that they're that much more fired up for the Iron Bowl. But, yeah, definitely. I don't know anything on Mercer. I know they're 9-1, and they're right around the top 5 of the FCS national ranking. So I know you like to shit on FCS football, but there are some tricky programs out here, and I think it'll be ironic if an FCS team can knock off Auburn after all your shit talk on FCS football over the years.
I still don't think I've shit talked it that much. I'm
Oh,
just not as
you've
high on
chat
it as you've
talked
been.
it. Whatever. We don't have to get into that. But it's interesting. I know Auburn easily always carves out 5, 10, 15 plus minutes of a segment. But let's talk about the teams that are actually important going into this bracket and into postseason play here for college football.
Yeah, the Texas Tech draw is looking better and better by the day. So they're up to 5 now, where they would play number 12 Tulane. But we'll get into that chaos for that 12 spot in a bit. But if Tech could hold steady, they might get a bye by the time it's all said and done. If A&M loses to Georgia in that SEC championship game, if Ohio State loses a game to Michigan down the road, which could have other implications as well. But Tech is knocking on the door.
They are. I love the spot Texas Tech's in. They've weathered the storm well. They've battled a little adversity early on with the quarterback going down, but it kind of seems like after that, which they did end up winning that game on the road, their backup is no joke and played a really good game. Young kid, freshman. I believe he's 5-star, but I just love everything they're doing, man. They're loaded across the field, offense, defense, special teams. They play the game the right way, and I just love how they battled that adversity. I think did they lose a game? They dropped a game to somebody. Was it A&M or
who did
I
they
don't
lose
know.
to? It was
They
early.
lost to somebody. I can't recall who.
Yeah, I'm finding it right now.
But I'm glad they're ascending.
They lost to Arizona State on the road in October,
which just should never have happened. But I like the way they're ascending now. They're getting hot at the right time. And look, you're absolutely right. Ohio State, a tricky game on the road at Michigan. Who knows what's going to happen in what seems to be the Big Ten championship of Ohio State and Indiana, which what a game that would be. There's a lot of things. A&M and Georgia are still there. So there's still a lot more room for improvement. And if we look at Tech's remaining schedule, they'll probably be in the Big 12 championship game. It's them, BYU.
They should be, and Utah.
Utah. Like they're kind of the top. Who does Tech have the rest of the way that they should be seriously concerned about or in a spot? And if they do have anybody, it's probably would be a home game, which only further helps them out.
Yeah, it looks like they have a bye this week, and then it's just West Virginia to end the season.
Yeah, so did all they could this year to get to that Big 12 championship, and obviously further into postseason play for the college football playoff. But I like the spot we're in. Everybody knows we gave out Texas Tech as the future, and I got to admit, Brian, usually when I bet on something, it gets worse and worse by the day. And this is one of those that has seemingly, aged well, has been going has been trending in the right direction ever since we gave it out here 4, 5, 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I did mention the SEC championship game as their possible path to get in, but it might be, you mentioned the Big Ten with Ohio State and Indiana right there. The loser of that, I mean, Texas Tech has been dominant all year. You kind of have to put a 1-loss conference champion in above a 1-loss or possibly 2-loss if Ohio State loses to Michigan, non-conference champion, whether it be Indiana or Michigan, I would think.
Brian, you are convinced that the Buckeyes are going down at the Big House.
I am. We might as well talk about the other paths for these teams that are on the outside looking in. Michigan could get in if they take down the Buckeyes in the Big House. They're ranked 18 right now. They should win this week. And then you beat the number 1 team in the country to end your season. I mean, if they're at like 16 heading into the last week and then they beat Ohio State, how can you keep them out?
It's not about how can you keep them out. It's who do you take out? Who's there that you would claim, Alabama? Do they lose to Auburn? There's so many things that can go one way or the other. Oregon has a tricky game this week. If USC beats them, that turns into a chaotic mess.
Yeah, so if you're not, besides the ACC chaos and the Group of Five chaos, which again we'll get to, the other chaos is going to come from USC if they can beat Oregon.
Right.
Then what happens there? And then Bama losing to Auburn. That seemingly would open up 2 spots, and maybe USC just takes Oregon's spot if they beat them.
Maybe.
Oklahoma still has to play Missouri and LSU too, who of course aren't great, but 2 losable games.
Yeah, definitely losable games. I think, at Texas A&M, it would have added to the chaos if somehow I don't know how they won that game. It was all South Carolina all day until the final 18 minutes, end of the third and all the fourth. That was just by the grace of God. I think the Vegas and the committee were like, we don't need this chaos and stress.
Yeah, that I still don't understand how they pulled that out, but
I don't either. And I don't even know how their ranking wasn't adjusted because of it. I mean, they remained at 3.
I guess you could put Tech above them, even Georgia, but they're undefeated. You kind of have to keep.
This is South. You do, but that's a South Carolina team that lost by 26 at home to Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt's also just very weird. You have to keep the undefeated teams 1, 2, 3.
You do. But there, I think there's an exposure element that was clearly opened up for the Aggies of Texas A&M this past weekend, which again, we talk chaos, adds another layer of chaos to, what this field is and this decision is going to be. I guess another good question would be, and there's so much to play out, so how can you even ask the question? But what would be, how can the committee make themselves look good after all is said and done, meeting a field is set, right? Because there's always, this team got snubbed and we don't like what the committee advised or said here. What can they do to get it right and not have people pissed off? And I know people are always going to be pissed off. They're always going to be mad. Their team got snubbed. Their team did this. But, what can they do to minimize that hate and finally have a good image of what seems like everybody hates them every year?
Yeah, I think they're setting this up in a really good spot where they're covering their bases because they have BYU and Utah at 11 and 12. And everybody really knows neither of them are going to beat Texas Tech in that Big 12 championship. So they're basically saying we're not putting that second Big 12 team in. And they keep putting Miami in this bracket, saying like to themselves, Miami's going to win the ACC, so they're automatically in. But they know that win over Notre Dame is also hovering around, where if they keep Miami out, everyone's going to be like, why is Notre Dame in? And the most likely scenario we're looking at, Miami doesn't have a clean path to win the ACC. They need a lot of help to get to the ACC championship. So what I think we're really looking at here is we're going to see, after all the speculation about the ACC maybe not getting a bid, if Duke somehow wins this doomsday scenario, I think we're going to see a 2-bid league in the ACC with Miami winning out and not playing a conference championship, and then the winner of probably Georgia Tech or UVA getting the 11th seed.
Which is just insane. And, maybe the angle that ultimately what my question was is people are pissed off that the ACC gets 2 bids.
Yeah, but they have the, hey, Miami beat Notre Dame hovering over to be like, that's why.
I know.
They're kind of setting
the
this up.
The thing is for me, and again, not to cut you off, Miami lost, I think got killed at home to Louisville. And then Louisville lost at home to Clemson this past week. So for me, like Miami shouldn't even be a thought in all of this. Just thinking out loud.
It's really just that win over Notre Dame. And then they had the win over FSU when FSU was still ranked. And that's kind of what the committee has said. Now. They're going to take the big wins over the bad losses. But if you're going to play that game, like, does Oregon's win over Penn State not mean anything?
Yeah. When on the road.
But Penn State was ranked high.
That's what I'm saying. Like they, sellout crowd, highly ranked. James Franklin's still the coach. National championship aspirations were still flooding in Happy Valley.
It's very
That's what I'm saying, man. We criticize the committee, but I do not ever want to be on that board.
no. If you're a fan of a Vanderbilt is ranked 14, Michigan, who we talked about, USC, I assume they're going to get in if they beat Oregon. They have to, and then just replace Oregon.
Yeah, that sets it up nicely for the committee because it's like, all right, if USC wins, you can put them in, and then Oregon's a 2-loss team, 2 losses at home. You can justify keeping them out.
Yeah. If you're a fan of any of these kind of teams, probably Vanderbilt's the biggest, because they don't have that much opportunity. They do play Tennessee, which would be a big win, but they're not going to play in the SEC championship. So you are heavily rooting for Miami to go lose to Pitt this weekend or somehow pick up another loss, so they're just an afterthought. And then maybe there's a path for Vanderbilt to get in. Even then, you probably need Auburn to win the Iron Bowl. So there's a lot happening here. But there's a lot happening with only a few teams that could actually make a move, unless absolute just nonsense happens.
Which, I mean, we have nonsense every year. I know we just went over a couple scenarios, so not saying every chaotic scenario is going to unfold, but surely something is going to happen. It could be as soon as this weekend where we're like, holy smokes, we thought it was already on its head, but now it's really turned upside down on its head. And I don't know where it's going to come. But for me, sticking out right here, Thursday, November 20th, before the full, college weekend unfolds, Miami isn't sitting with me right. And I understand the whole Notre Dame thing, but that's the one that isn't sitting well with me as it stands, if I had to pick something.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And I think that will change. I would hope that would change. But if everyone holds serve in this bracket, if everyone holds serve, it will change because the ACC winner will take over for Miami. But all it's going to take is an Alabama loss to Auburn, an Oklahoma loss somehow, a Tech loss in the Big 12 title. Honestly, I'm talking myself out of Miami as I'm going through all these scenarios.
Well, I mean, what if Georgia Tech knocks off Georgia?
See, they're at 4. I can't imagine they drop Georgia all the way out.
Georgia wouldn't be all the way out, but how do you keep Georgia Tech out?
They would still have to win the ACC. So you're saying Georgia Tech loses in the ACC championship but beats Georgia?
I didn't know that would propel them to an ACC championship game because Georgia's not in the ACC.
Yeah, but for Georgia Tech to keep their chances to play in the ACC championship game, they have to beat Pittsburgh this week. That would put them in the ACC title game.
Okay.
So they'd be there, but then say they get up to like 13, they beat Georgia, that puts them at 9, 8. But then they go ahead and lose to Virginia when Virginia would be ranked like 17. Yeah. You're going to put Virginia and Georgia Tech in?
No. You Tech or Virginia's going to get. I don't know. I guess it all depends on how it plays out. What if Alabama loses to Auburn?
It's going to be complete chaos. So that's like, if you're a fan of, it's really Vandy. If you're a fan of USC after beating Oregon, if you're a fan of Vandy, or if you're a fan of Michigan, you're just rooting for chaos and your team to just get one big win. One big win left and a little bit of chaos in front of you, and you might be in the playoff.
Yeah, for all the people who like to summon chaos and like to just watch chaos, I mean, I don't know how you're not entertained by how this is kind of all unfolding right before our eyes with, 2 pretty huge weekends left that, we're looking at it right now, and this could be completely different 14 days from now.
Completely different. And the last thing that could be completely different is this group of 5, where we have Tulane ranked number 24, currently holding on to the 12th seed. But they're going to have to play somebody in the American title game. It could very well be Navy. JMU's still sitting there with 1 loss. They're going to win the Sun Belt. This is nonsense. I don't know what's going to happen in that, and I really want to see JMU get in. I don't want to see the American because the American has been mediocre all year.
The American's been mediocre, and maybe if they were a little stronger and didn't beat each other up and one team kind of emerged, I'd be okay with giving it to the American. But For me, JMU, their only blemish is a road loss to Louisville early in the season where they played very competitive and were in that game up until the fourth quarter. They've ironed, they've ironed a lot out. They don't play the same way they did. They're running quarterback by committee in the beginning of the year, which they've kind of strayed away from, and their offense has been clicking great. The last month and a half of the season or whatever. But that would be, I guess, the second thing that would tick me off is if JMU doesn't get a shot at this playoff, because I think they have been the best team out of these 4 or 5 teams who are in the running to make that wild card Cinderella group of 5 spot in this national bracket. But JMU for me needs to get in, especially with the Tulane coach coming out and saying,
We don't deserve
we don't deserve it, is exactly what he said. He said there must be a lot of really bad football going on if we're in the 12 spot, which he was joking a little bit, probably pulled out of context a bit for the headlines. I think what it came off more joking. The headlines made it sound more serious. But the point still stands. I mean, Tulane, and I do love the program, do love kind of the rebranding and rebuilding. Tulane's football program was a joke for a very long time. And the last couple of years, they've come on strong, playing in bowl games, playing in decent bowl games. So they've done a lot of really nice things over the last couple of years. But, for me, JMU is the team that needs to be in that 12 spot.
Yeah, and I mean, their coach Summerall is getting looks from Auburn, Florida, all these schools because of exactly that. He built this program from nothing.
Yeah.
Well, if you could do that, you can probably use resources in the SEC to make them a contender again. But somehow we always come back to this school. I don't know if it's your Philly ties or what it is, but Temple. If you're a JMU fan, you are the biggest Temple Owls fan for the last 2 weeks of the season. They still play Tulane. They still play Navy. If they can knock off one of those teams and then that team wins the American with 2 losses, one of them being the Temple, I don't see how JMU can not get in as the Sun Belt champion with just 1 loss.
And is that JMU's only path?
I think so. Unless that American champion just looks terrible in a 6-3 American championship game and JMU blows the doors off whoever they play in the Sun Belt championship game and just pass the eye test. But it really seems like the committee is dead set on that American champion getting the final spot.
Yeah, and it's a shame because JMU probably would have done really well in the American this year and maybe would have even won it. I think them being in the Sun Belt obviously hurts whatever resume they've put together. Would have been awesome to see them beat Louisville on the road. That would have really helped solidify and cement them in as this last spot. But for me, JMU's right up there with those teams out of the American. I get it. It's a stronger conference overall, which it is compared to the Sun Belt. But, dude, it just would be such a shame if a team as talented as JMU doesn't get in after the season they've had, and you put in an American team that, quite frankly, and look, it's a long shot for any of these teams to do damage, whoever is that 12 spot, but I don't know. JMU's the most fun team out of everything that's sticking around, and that's where I stand on that.
Yeah, and there is a chance Navy wins the American and loses to Army because anything could ever happen in that game. So then maybe that's a path for JMU too. But I know this is kind of putting us down a slippery slope again because we've done this with the actual playoff, expanding it every year. But if they're going to put this best group of 5 champion and just decide it, why not have a playoff and have the 2 best group of 5 champions decided by a committee play after their conference championship? And that's who represents the group of 5 team in the actual playoff. And I know it's an extra game and it's a disadvantage, again, for that group of 5 that already has a disadvantage just by a talent gap going into the actual playoff. But I'd like to think most years there's only going to be 2 group of 5 champions worthy that this debate's going to be around. So why not settle it with 1 playoff game?
I agree. If this was a video game where you could turn fatigue and injuries off, I'd say go all in. But that
I mean, they
obviously
take a month off between the playoff and the conference championship anyway.
they do. They do. I don't know. I don't think it's a horrible idea. They never would. Again, logistics has to play into it. That'd probably be a nightmare. Where do you play the game? How do you justify who gets home field, who doesn't? Can you get, is it a neutral game? There's so many.
Pop-Tarts Bowl, like the Group of 5 championship game.
I think it's an interesting conversation. You bring up a good point. I would love to see it, especially in a year where, Tulane and JMU for a shot to go to the day. Like, yeah, I love it. But for me, it's like, dude, JMU is better than than these teams. And I honestly, speaking for Tulane, I think the coach isn't giving his team as much credit. They had a bad loss on the road to UT San Antonio. But like, I do like Tulane as well. I don't think they're as bad as even their own coach was putting them down on.
Yeah, the big issue for them is that win over Duke's looking worse by the day. It's a 5-loss Duke team now.
Yeah. Who also lost on the road to UConn.
They did.
Who isn't a horrible program. UConn.
Yeah, that coach has really brought him back from the dead too.
Jim Mora.
Yeah.
Ex-NFL guy, I think.
There you go.
So, yeah, that's what
hypothetical Pop-Tarts Bowl Group of 5 championship. JMU's got to be favored against Tulane, right? Like 3.5 points?
At a bare minimum, it's a pick'em. At a bare minimum. I don't know how JMU's not favored.
Yeah, I think I'd put it at like 2.5, 3.5.
Swang JMU's favorite?
Yeah, with JMU.
Yeah, I would too. I think Tulane JMU would be a great football game. It
would be.
Navy, to me, it's like they don't deserve it. North Texas, like, sure, they were fun. They were fun during the year, but like, is it really between Tulane, North Texas, Navy, and then JMU's right there?
Yep, that's pretty much.
Is that what we got for the final spot here for the last team in?
And Navy has technically they have the most direct path because they get a bye this week before Army Navy. They're 6-1 in the American. Tulane and North Texas still have to win another game. But if it's Navy, you got to think they put JMU in.
Dude, it can't be Navy. Navy's not good enough. Just be smart, committee. Use the eye test. The eye test tells you that already, as it stands, it should probably be JMU. Use the eye test. Put the Dukes in. It'd be so fun. From FCS to national. I mean, come on, dude. You don't get stories like this.
You know, the worst part of this whole is if they do put JMU in after we've been clamoring for it, there's a high chance they match up with Texas Tech in the first round.
Which is annoying because I want to root for JMU, but by default will not be able to.
I guess it does open up a hedge opportunity.
It does.
Where you wouldn't be too mad about the hedge winning.
Tech's just got to keep moving up.
That's the path.
And we don't have to sit here. But nonetheless, I do want to see JMU get in. I think they're the best Group of 5 team, and I think the committee should not use them being in the Sun Belt.
I have a theory.
What do you got?
Indiana loses the championship to Ohio State. Texas Tech jumps up to the bye. And only for the vibes, they drop Indiana down to number 5, where then former JMU coach Kirk Signetti will play against his alma mater, number 12 JMU, in the first round of the college football playoff.
We need that game so bad.
That might be JMU's best bet.
College football needs it. America needs it.
That might have just opened up their best bet to get in.
I think it did. I hope somebody slips that, a little birdie gets that into a committee member's ear. And when they're going around the horn talking about this, somebody brings it up about, hey, look, here's a story inside of a story. Ex-coach just signed the deal. JMU right there. FCS into the Sun Belt. opens up some headlines. I want to see it bad, man. I really want JMU in that last spot.
Yeah, all we can do is hope. And we got 2 weeks until we'll be previewing all these games and getting hyped for Texas Tech. I cannot wait for some playoff college football.
Neither can I.
Let's talk some Michael of the week. It's been a couple weeks.
It has been a couple weeks. Always presented by our great sponsor, SeatGeek. Brian, what code can people use to get some money off their ticket?
They can use code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. That's code VIEWSFROM400 for $20 off your first purchase. What game would you want to go to this weekend with the SeatGeek code?
This weekend, any game, or relative to Philadelphia.
Well, the Eagles are in Dallas.
They're in Dallas, so that's what I'm saying. Like any game across the country.
Any game you can go to, just pick one.
I would have to refresh my memory. I'm not too familiar with the college slate this weekend for football, but I'm trying to think. I have no idea.
All right, well, I have an idea. Let's say you want to go to the Players Era Championship at Vegas right before Thanksgiving for session 2 there, where the Auburn Tigers will be playing. If you want to spend money on one ticket right now, it's $175. Pretty steep, right? Why not use our code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout? $20 off your first purchase. That $175 ticket becomes $155.
Something better than nothing.
Something better than nothing. Code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout.
There you go. All right, let's get into it.
Keeping it with college basketball here. I was in the studio working at SiriusXM over the weekend, sitting with our guy Noah, who's in the fantasy league, probably going to be in the playoffs of the fantasy league. Not with me. We were just looking at some games possibly go to coming up in DC. We stumbled upon Duke versus Michigan. And I'm like, oh, that's got to be like 2027, right? Like, or late 2026 next year, early conference play, before conference play, just, one of those random Players Era championship things. No, it's in late February. They're taking a break from conference play. They have 4 conference games after this to go play in DC. Duke versus Michigan.
It's kind of giving, again, like before conference play, like, when UConn will travel down to Madison Square Garden and play a game there against a big time opponent, Duke in North Carolina coming up to DC. It's not a close drive. I mean, Duke's a national brand. It's not super far, but the timing of it doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I've never heard of something like this. Like, it's February 21st. That's 2 weeks before the ACC tournament.
Michigan State?
Michigan.
So Big Ten ACC Challenge in the middle of February?
Yeah, like that game's February 21st, and the ACC tournament starts in Charlotte, North Carolina on March 10th. So that's 2.5 weeks. You're going out of conference play to play a non-conference opponent like 2.5 weeks before you got to get ready for the biggest part of your season.
My theory of what will most likely definitely not happen, they are foreshadowing, maybe that's the right word, dropping hints that Michigan will leave a bad Big Ten and join the ACC.
Even then, like,
I mean, think about it. What does the Big Ten? What does the Big Ten have? I don't know. It makes no sense. Well, they'll be in the ACC by that point. But what is what?
Saying mid-season they go to the ACC?
No, I'm saying at the end of this year they flip to the ACC.
This is this year, like the end of this season.
Oh, I thought it was next year in mid-February. Yeah, now I really have no idea. I was trying to create a path, but I don't know. I think that's another good point I bring up, though, is like the Big Ten has what? Purdue, Michigan Indiana's fallen off a cliff. I guess Michigan State.
Maryland's still a basketball brand, but not really.
Penn State never has been.
Rutgers, teeter-totters every year.
Rutgers, no. They were tied at halftime to American yesterday.
Yeah, Minnesota, not really.
Minnesota, no. Is Oregon in the Big Ten?
Yeah, but they look horrible this year too. But
They
Dan Altman
don't-
will get it figured out.
They haven't been great. USC,
Chad Baker, Mazzara. Eric Musselman's there now.
They haven't been relevant.
Iowa, although they lost Fran McCaffrey, so they're kind of in a.
They lost Fran McCaffrey.
They got the Drake coach, didn't they?
Yeah, they're ranked this year.
Bennett Stritch is there.
Fran McCaffrey went to UPenn. Would love to see if they drum up some magic.
Illinois, UCLA. Oh, UCLA is good this year.
Oh, UCLA is all right. So maybe the Big Ten still got some stuff. I thought maybe they've fallen more off a cliff than maybe they have, but
The additions of UCLA and Oregon certainly help.
yeah, I'll withdraw my original statement. Brian, question for you before I get to my Michael. Is the Big East a mid-major conference?
No, because UConn's still in it.
Just because of UConn?
I would say Villanova.
So if UConn for whatever reason left to go to the ACC, does that immediately drop them into a mid-major conference? St. John's, Marquette, Providence, Georgetown's getting back to life. Villanova under Willard look like they could maybe have something going forward.
You need the revival of Villanova, and even like Marquette has not been.
Yeah, Marquette has not been great.
At least once you get to March.
I think it's I think it's it's an argument that not a lot of people talk about. Of the Big East used to be this powerhouse of Syracuse, UConn, Pitt, Villanova with Scotty Reynolds. These great programs, and it just feels like slowly but surely they're like teetering on the level of dropping to a mid-major. And you're right, UConn obviously helps keep them above or afloat, but God forbid UConn wants to jump ship. I mean, not saying the Big East will dissolve, but I would hate to watch that conference fall into the abyss.
So I don't think UConn will ever jump ship because their football team is not good enough to support a Big Ten or ACC. Well, ACC, I mean,
it's
not very good.
Yeah, the ACC. UConn's team was decent this year. They just beat Duke.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's something to think about, man. Like UConn's revival football program, they're still making good money in the Big East. They host Arizona. Well, I want to say tonight. Everybody's watching it a day later. As we're recording, Arizona, UConn in Storrs, Connecticut. I mean, that's a monster game.
Yeah, I mean, how many bids did they even get last year? The committee might think of them as a mid-major conference at this point. They only had three bids in the tournament last year.
It wasn't a lot. St. John's, UConn,
Marquette. I think that was
Marquette. Did Providence sneak in? If not,
No.
I think it was just those three.
Which I could very well see it being those three. I mean, Willard will figure it out with Nova. But it could be a 4-bid league for a while. Butler has gone back into mediocrity. Seton Hall sucks. Providence is not good. DePaul's DePaul. What else is there? Like, not much.
I don't know. Villanova has the nation's leading rebounder on the squad. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
That could have been a Michael of a week in itself.
And how many years does Patino even have left? Like, this conference could fade into.
His kid went to Xavier. They look horrible.
They do not look good.
Creighton is like there.
Yeah, but I think
like they'll probably. Did Creighton make it last year?
Oh, so it must have been a 4-bid league.
So 4-bid league.
Yeah, Creighton played Auburn in the round.
They
32.
They did. I do remember that because Creighton had the little short point guard that like is.
Oh, what was his name?
I forget. You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
I know exactly who you're Ashworth, right?
Yes, Ash. Yeah,
Ashworth.
Yeah.
Ashworth, something like that. He was there for like 5 years.
Pesky. pesky Big East guard.
And Kalkbrenner was still there, so I guess they had guys.
Kalkbrenner was there, but I don't know. It's the Big East got to get their shit together, man.
They do.
But I will jump to my Michael of the week. We head over to the baseball diamond where the Field of Dreams game was announced today for 2026. It'll be the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Minnesota Twins. So that could maybe be a Michael of the week in itself. But my gruff is, why is it Phillies Twins? Phillies Mets, Phillies Braves. Like, that would have been way much cooler.
Yeah,
what
I thought
did
you
you
were
think
about
I
to
was
be
going to be
about
pissed about?
you being it on Netflix.
Oh, I didn't even see that part. Yeah,
it's
that's
on
another
Netflix.
disaster. I saw the home run derbies on Netflix.
Yep. Home Run Derby, Field of Dreams on opening day on Netflix.
Whatever. It's too early to let that bother me yet. Well, I'll wait until we get to 2026. But when I just saw the matchup, like Phillies Twins, I don't know, man. Phillies Braves felt better. Like, I know you could say Phillies Mets. I know you're a Mets fan, but like Phillies Braves felt like it would have been really, really fun for Field of Dreams. You need the aesthetic. Phillies Twins, Field of Dreams is not the aesthetic.
I think they're hoping a lot of Twins fans are around the area.
Where's that game played? Iowa?
Iowa. Yeah, it can't be that far from Minnesota. I'm thinking about a map. I think Iowa's right next to it.
It's not too far. I mean, it's not like, an hour drive. Yeah, I also don't know where they play in Iowa.
It's got to be Des Moines, right?
Could be Iowa City. Could be Des Moines. They played in the same
Dyersville.
Spot. Yeah, who knows where that is.
All right, let's do a quick Google Maps Dyersville to Minneapolis.
I mean, it's definitely not close.
I'm going to guess like 4 hours. That could be horrendously wrong.
Could be like 8 or 12.
Oh, it's definitely not close. Where the fuck? Oh, wait, no. We might be kind of close here. Dyersville, Minneapolis. 4 hours, 13 minutes. Geography, look at that. That's not bad. You could probably do a quick flight there. Minneapolis to Cedar Rapids isn't that far. I'm sure they have an airport. But that's what they're going for. They need the local team. But then why not do like a AL Central matchup? Why are you throwing the Phillies there against the Twins?
That's why was my Michael of the week, because I was shocked. Like, happy to see the Phillies play these unique one-off. I won't even call it stadium series because it's not that, but you know what I mean. Like the specialty type of game. They already played in London against the Mets, which again, great matchup. But like Phillies Twins, are the Twins even going to be that good next year?
No, new manager. They sold at the deadline.
New manager sold at the deadline. They're talking about they won't trade both, but Pablo Lopez or Joe Ryan, one of two, is probably going to be moved. There's a good chance.
Yeah, the Mets should be in on Joe Ryan. They'll probably end up with Pablo Lopez.
Lopez had better stats.
Yeah, but he throws a very hittable fastball, and I hate pitchers that throw hittable fastballs.
Yeah, he does. He's very Aaron Nolan-esque.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's basically it for my Michael of the week. Was one shocked to see that the Phillies were even selected for that. Didn't think they would get that game, and then two, also shocked that that's the matchup they choose. And again, I know timing and scheduling all has to work out, but is this a Rob Manfred fault? I don't know. It feels Rob Manfred like, since at all the games he could have did, it's Phillies Twins, just no bad blood, no rivalry aspect. Like Twins, who knows what they'll look like next year.
Duran revenge game.
Nice.
If Harrison Bader's re-signed, it's I guess also his revenge game.
He already gave the goodbye Instagram.
Okay, yeah. Maybe he's met again.
It feels like Mets Yankees for him. Just because one of those two will probably overpay. I think
Yeah.
he's worth that like 12 to 14 range, and he'll end up getting like 16 to 17 with one of those New York teams.
It's going to depend if the Mets keep Brandon Nimmo, which I saw they might be shopping him, but they want the Carson Bench kid to start in center next year. I have high hopes for him, so I'm sure that'll go crashing in the flames. But you
Dude,
brought
you
up
were a huge Nimmo guy.
Oh, I am still a big Nimmo guy. I think he's very good, and it's amazing fans don't share that, but it's whatever. We have time before the Mets piss me off. I'm sure they
Yeah.
will soon.
I was going to say that about the Phils.
You brought up Manfred, and last thing on baseball, he just sold Sunday Night Baseball to NBC, which I am excited for. I think
I
that's going
know.
to be a great product.
I saw that. Who gets to call that?
Might be Tirico. I don't know if he's ever done baseball, but
It doesn't feel like it should be Tirico, man. I know he's been great, but
he does golf, which, I mean, same kind of slow-paced game.
yeah. I don't know. Is that an angle? Well, I guess
Noah Eagle, throw him on there.
maybe he has too much. Baseball doesn't need the rock hard excitement.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll hire somebody. Maybe they hire
I was gonna say, does Joe Buck make an appearance? But I don't know why they weren't utilizing him more for Sunday Night Baseball, because ESPN has him under contract, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there's provision that he just is doing Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to work that much anymore.
No, I think he did one game, didn't he? Was it maybe opening night last year?
Yeah, like a cameo thing.
Yeah, he did like one game, but either way, it'd be interesting to see who potentially, lines up for. Is that all Sunday Night Baseball will be on NBC?
Yep.
Drop your comments down below. Who do you think gets to call Sunday Night Baseball? Because, again, not to knock the ESPN guys who did it, but that broadcast was brutal to listen to if you ever watch ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
It was all bad, and they brought back NBC Sports Network, which was very low key, but they're going to do a leadoff show for that every Sunday now. So they'll have a whole panel of people that I'm sure it'll be a great product, because the NBA has been a great product. And that's my conspiracy that Rob Manfred will finally be forced to leave the commissioner role, because now not only the Players Association will be mad at him for the impending lockout, but Netflix and NBC are not going to be happy when they can't make money off the product when there's a lockout for half of the 2027 season.
No, maybe that's why ESPN's getting out.
Maybe.
But
Or they just suck. Yes. All right, let's do some NFL confidence picks.
let's do it, man. I'm pumped.
Let's you had a big week last week. I'm sure you're excited to talk about it. So let me pull up the standings here. Yep, you missed one game, and it was Jack's dumbass Jacksonville Jaguars that screwed you.
Yeah, tough. I should have known I'm a big when it's 1:00 and the West Coast teams have to travel across country. Damn, that's a clean board right there, Brian. That is a clean board. And I even like looking at the slate Sunday on the boards, I'm like, I was like Chargers minus, 159 like that.
Yeah, for those of you not watching, Matt extended his lead by missing just one game. He's at 967 points, a 114-50 record, 70% hit rate. My second place is slowly fading away. I'm at 872, just 99-65 on the year, 60% hit rate. And then Jack is he's not here today, but he did send in his picks. We let that slide because he already missed 1 week. He's at 825 points, 103-45, also a 70% hit rate. So maybe he's the one Matt has to worry about, and not me. And we never did come up with a punishment, but if we did, I would be very rattled right now.
It's a surprise. The winner gets to decide it.
All right. Well, it's easy to say now. But, I've been bad enough where I will take whatever is coming to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, the 60%, Jack already having more picks, right? There's a lot.
It hasn't been a great year.
There's a lot to unfold there.
I'm going to need to bounce back heavily when we do our March Madness brackets.
There's still time left. By the way, when does the confidence picks end, right? Because last couple of weeks of the season, Do we just keep doing it even if teams are resting starters, this and that? How
I
do
think
we
we have to
navigate those
go.
waters?
We go until the end of the regular season, and then if there's somehow a tie, we'd go into the playoffs. But we'll do like a separate pick game for the playoffs.
I was
Maybe
going to say
we'll go
we can't do a confident. Maybe for the opening round, is there an angle to do confidence picks?
We could figure out something. I think we'd have to do like a against the spread, a prop bet.
We got to make it fun, dude.
Yeah, we'd have to do like multiple picks per game.
But we got to do something.
We will, yeah.
I love it.
All the way up to the Super Bowl.
Did I saw on the board there wasn't a week 12 slot, so I just jotted my picks down, which is I don't know if you're looking at it
on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, unless I was in the wrong spot. Either way, I have my picks.
All right. Well, you get to kick it off first. It doesn't look like Jack gave us his picks either, unless I'm in the wrong spot. All right. Well, I will call Jack for his picks, but we're starting off with you anyway, so I will get this going.
You can't handle the truth. Young Perky, Cali.
Gotta wait for the beat drop.
Wow. There's nothing like some views from Section 400. NFL confident picks. You hear that music come on, and you know what's coming at you. We roll on to week 12 of the NFL season. Wow, the season's going by quick. But week 12 of the NFL as your leader in the clubhouse now multiple weeks in a row, stacking them up. I will kick us off here with the Lions taking down the Giants. Jackson Dart's still in concussion protocol.
He's gonna play.
Seahawks over the Titans. Ravens over the Jets. Patriots over the Bengals. I got the Bills over the Texans on Thursday night tonight. Packers over the Vikings. Eagles over the Cowboys in what a lot of people are calling a tricky game in Dallas. Jaguars over the Cardinals, which would not be surprised if Arizona has something up their sleeve for that game. The Chiefs over the Colts. I'm sure a lot of people are on the Colts. This is a big game for Patty Mahomes to steer the ship back on track. I got the Bears over the Steelers to continue their charge for the NFC North. The ugliest game, the game that shouldn't even be aired, I have the Browns over the Raiders. Shador Sanders shines. 300 yards passing, plus 3,000. We'll see. Panthers over the Niners in another big game for my Carolina Panthers. Honorary NFC team that I've been pulling for after giving them out as a sleeper back in May. Big game out on the West Coast. Need to see them get a win. Bucks over the Rams down in Tampa. Think the Bucks need it a little bit more. Also would love to see it for the Eagles' hopes in getting the number one seed of the NFC. And the Saints put the nail in the coffin, which might already be in the coffin, of the Atlanta Falcons season. I think the Saints can get the job done over the Falcons. And that wraps up my confidence picks for NFL for Week 12.
I like it a lot. I will say I have a surprising pick in the first spot because of a certain stat about Browns quarterbacks that I might as well say now. The last 17 Browns to make their debut start for the team have all lost. 0-17. And I know Shador debuted last week, but this will be his first start.
He did debut last week, and dude, the Raiders look like the Browns look bad. The Raiders look worse.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Max Crosby against that O-line. I'll get into mine. At the one spot, I have the Raiders over the Browns.
Wow.
14 points. Max Crosby.
I mean, wait, let's just digest that for just half a quick second. I know you're going to go through the whole thing, but fine, you're putting your entire confidence pick season on the line.
Yep.
In Pete Carroll and the directionless Raiders.
I think
Let
Max
that sink
Crosby-
in. Explain that to the people. That's a move that gets you fired in the world of sports.
I saw Max Crosby piss off on that Monday Night Football game. He was not happy. What better way to get happy than going against the horrible Browns offensive line against the guy that holds the ball way too long. Might have 7 sacks in this game. And let's just pray Geno Smith can do enough. That's all I need. Just do enough.
Good luck, man. You're gonna need it.
All right, going down the list. Ravens over the Jets. Seahawks over the Titans. I have the Chiefs over the Colts. I thought you were going to go Colts over Chiefs for a second because this game just kept slipping down your board.
I think
They need it. If they lose, they're not making the playoffs.
More. The Chiefs needed so much more. And kind of to your point, Daniel Jones hasn't looked the sharpest the last couple weeks. I know they had a bye, but there's been some signs of his old self.
If the Chiefs lose this game, they might not make the playoffs.
That's why I think the Chiefs win.
You need to. Yeah, I'm betting on Patrick Mahomes in a must-win game. Bills over the Texans. Patriots over the Bengals. I do have the Lions over the Giants. I wanted to put the Giants there, but I have more faith in Max Crosby against Shedeur Sanders than I do Jackson Dart against the Detroit Lions. Eagles over the Cowboys. Packers over Vikings. Got the 49ers over the Panthers. I'm kind of worried the Panthers play spoiler there, but Brock Purdy looked really good, and the 49ers also really need this game if they're going to hold off the Panthers and everyone else to make the playoffs.
That's why I was so far down my board. I'm in a spot where I can play what I want to see over what I think will happen, and that's why I have the Panthers over the Niners and way down, only giving up 3 points.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd put the Falcons over the Saints too. I have the Saints over the Falcons. Kirk Cousins cannot play football
That's
anymore.
why I should put the nail in the coffin, but it kind of already is. Just making sure it stays shut.
I was doing so well too of hiding my sickness, and then that cough just came out too. I grabbed Kirk Cousins, and then of course the Grim Reaper comes for me.
The Grim Reaper just emerged.
Jags over the Cardinals, although I also think Cardinals could be sneaky in that game. And then the Rams over the Bucks, and the Steelers over the Bears to finish it off. Just 2 games that I could see going either way. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, at least for me, when I was kind of looking over the board and seeing where I wanted to stack the picks up this week, the Chiefs-Colts obviously stuck out to me. I have the Jaguars over the Cardinals. This will be the week where the Cardinals win. I think that's a tricky game out in Arizona for Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. They obviously, need to win the games that they're supposed to win. Packers need to keep it rolling. The Vikings are, a loss for them. Pretty much season's over. I think the season's already over for the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy is horrendous. No, I think the season's already over, but this is I was going off about how horrible they are last week, but a lot of interesting matchups as you work your way down the board, and I'm excited for that Panthers-Niners game, man.
It's gonna be a fun game. Monday Night
Football
Football too.
That's a fun game. Yeah, Monday night, prime time, Joe Buck on the call. I mean, just old school NFC. The sun might be out.
It's gonna piss me off, but we'll see. All right, peeling back the curtain here for the people. Jack has a kickball game today, and he told us he would put his picks in our spreadsheet we do every week. He did put picks in the spreadsheet, but they're the exact picks I put there, so I'm assuming he copy and pasted mine and forgot to change for his. I'm going to call him. If not, he's getting the exact same board I just said. His game started at 6:30. It is now 7:19, so he could still be out in the field. Seems like it's going to voicemail to me.
Hi, Hi, this is Jack Albans. I'm sorry I missed your call. Please leave your name and number, and I'll be sure to call you back as soon as we can. Thanks a lot.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give him until the end of the night to put his picks in the spreadsheet. If he gets there, we'll update the standings accordingly. If not, he's getting the exact same picks I just said. And I'm sure he's going to be very happy about Raiders over the Browns for 14 points.
And for everybody wondering, that is strictly a Brian decision. He is way
Well, it's either that or we give him a 0 again, and I'm sure he'd prefer that over a 0.
No, I mean, unless he has some backdoor excuse on the picks were hidden in some secret document, which even if they weren't, that's what you got to say. If it was tighter, maybe I'd care, but huge week for me last week. It's, I'm like 1 or 2 strong weeks away from, being able to just start taking off.
Yeah, you might be able to just take some knees on this segment going forward.
Yeah, it'll be good. But Brian, a thought came across. Honestly, it was last week. I was going to bring it up on the show. I didn't. But just looking at some NFL headlines, and we're on the NFL right now, and pretty random, but just something that I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about, and I wanted to bring it up pertaining to the NFL. But I was looking at just kind of like free agents coming up this year, and I know we have a long way to go, but just kind of contract extensions, who gets this, who gets that. But for the Dallas Cowboys, Brandon Aubrey is due for a contract extension. Probably will be the highest paid kicker ever. He can't get $15 million a year, but the highest kickers are already at $8-9 million. Like, I guess my question is, this is going to be a nuts contract for a kicker, you would think. And again, Jerry Jones, we know how much of a scene he's caused with giving out contracts. But then you figure some team, like, how close does he get to 50? Does he get to 50? I think 15 million's nuts. But you got to think, like, this guy's been unbelievable. What does his contract look like?
7 years, $100 million.
Is that 17? No.
That's 12.
12 a year. I mean, you got like
12.
Dude, he's going to get paid.
12 and a half.
I mean,
Yeah.
he signed a
takes
3-year, like $2 million contract that's expiring this year. If the Cowboys don't give him money, somebody else will.
He's still relatively young. If as a kicker, like, you're getting $100 million contract, and you're locked up,
take it.
I think that's something that will, unless he wants to take like a 2-year deal worth $25 million and then try to get more on the open market. But I think 12 around that
I think
number.
he's in a really good spot to cash in. Like, but what does his contract look like, man? We've never seen something like this before.
I think that, the 12 to $15 million range. He's that good.
He's that good, but that's insane to tie up to a kicker, no?
He's won them games this year. He wins them games every year.
I know.
They don't win that Giants game
It
without
feels like saying 15. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to get killed in the comments for saying 15 million? But like, I was looking at the Eagles kicker, Elliott, and he's like at 8 million.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So like, is 12 million, 13 million that egregious for Brandon Aubrey?
I think that's right where it has to be. I'm
like, that's kind of right what like you said, he's winning them games.
Justin Tucker's biggest contract was 4 years, 24. So that's only $6 million a year. But that was in 2022, and obviously
it's weird because most of these guys, I think, don't usually get that open market deal. They get like the extension, right? So it's already tied into their current deal. It's extended, whatever, how that works out. So this is like, unless something happens, but I think Aubrey, as the best kicker in football, and again, is there? I don't know is there a restriction on him? Can he only re-sign with Dallas if they don't want him? Then he can talk to other teams. I don't know what it's looking like, but are they going to give their kicker an extension in December? I don't know. But it feels like he's going to get close to the open market, which doesn't drive the price up to $15 million a year for Brandon Aubrey. I don't know.
He's that good. I mean, he's one of the best players in football.
I
He's going to
know,
be on
which
that
is-
top 100 list. Probably pretty high up there.
First kicker ever?
Yeah, I don't know if Tucker ever got on it,
I don't know either.
but he's probably the
But
only
you
guy
got it.
that
I
would.
mean,
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting, point to bring up of like we've never seen someone this electric kicking field goals, and like it just, dude, like thinking about it, like, dude, 15 million a year for a kicker sounds crazy, but I think he's going to demand close to that,
Yeah, and he's probably going to get it.
and he's probably going to get it. So that's my end of the confidence pick NFL topic. Let us know down below in the comments what you think Brandon Aubrey might get. Are they going to just extend him outright? Is he going to hit the open market? Is he a Cowboy next year? I don't know. We know that it's usually a circus when it comes to these contracts.
Every
But, it's, of course, it's Jerry Jones who's, now tasked with potentially signing what will be the highest paid kicker ever in the history of the National Football League.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting.
I think so.
All right, well, that is the show. Possibly a weird schedule coming up for Thanksgiving. Going to have to figure that out. Stay tuned on the social medias. We'll keep you guys updated on there. If you're not following, it's at Views from 400 everywhere. Jack will be back for whatever episode we do. And we'll see you guys next week at some point. I said do.
It just was great.
All right, see you guys.